It's still half-time here at Brookvale Oval. Manly lead the Melbourne Storm 18 points to 12 as we look for a clear-cut leader after 3 rounds of the NRL. Billy Slater has tried, as have the likes of Michael Monaghan and Matt Orford in that first 40 minutes. The Manly cheerleaders have had a bit to dance about as well. They scored 3 tries to 2 to have this 6-point lead. They've had some good workers as well, but Cameron Smith, Laurie, has notched up 24 tackles in that first half.
In trying conditions, it's a tremendous effort by Cameron Smith. Robbie Kearns is leading the way up front. Extra responsibility on his shoulders. 17 tackles, 10 hit-ups. Scotty Hill, who worked over in the defensive line, making 14, hasn't done a lot with the football, while Chad Randall has always been a danger and come up with 13 tackles himself. Anthony Watmo has probably been close to the best player on the field. 10 tackles, 12 hit-ups, and always a danger with the ball.
And each of those 10 tackles as well really have rattled some of the Melbourne ball carriers in this forward pack. Scott Hill had a cut open up above that left eye after a head clash with Michael Monaghan towards the back end of the first half. He's okay though. We won't have a Nathan Fiend type incident here this afternoon by the looks of things, with the Melbourne trainers doing a much better job than their Warriors counterparts did a couple of weeks ago. And John Hopewadi, sacked on Tuesday night by the Manly club, finds himself in their bunker here at Brookvale Oval on Sunday afternoon, just 5 days later. Here is Michael Witt, getting us back underway from the halfway line, taken by Cooper Cronk, who will give it to Robbie Kearns. Manly a 6-point lead to play with for this opening to the second half, as Smith comes across to Brett White, who bumps away from the Menzies tackle, but he was stopped there by Matai and also Kennedy. Hoffman runs a long way before he gets to Menzies, who's busy in this opening set of 6 in defence. King goes from dummy half. Matai was there with the help of Kite. Manly were able to pick up big metres from their own end, working it away from their own 20 in that first half. Melbourne getting it back almost to the halfway line here on the last play now. And a chance for Smith to kick from dummy half, and he does it so well. And it's Creary who'll go back and almost knock it on. He juggled it, but reeled it in just at the last second.
Creary, he would have felt all the eyes at Brookvale Oval on him then, and even more so if he had to drop that football. We spoke about Cameron Smith, how much work he's done in defence. Just before half-time, he came up with a couple of critical plays out of dummy half for the Melbourne Storm to put Manly under pressure. His kicking game in the second half is going to be vital. Manly be looking to put pressure on Orford, whereas he can just duck down the left-hand edge of the field, get out of dummy half and get a good kick in. Chases are all onside. It's a good way to build pressure.
Here's Dunley firing a ball to Monaghan, who was under pressure. Smith it was who raced up off the line to put him under the pump, and now Witt will kick over the head of Geyer. He'll leave it for Slater, who will take it in that one-hand trademark carry of his and bring it back midfield outside the 20. Good chase though from Manly. Harris and Witt were there, as Geyer again from dummy half has done some good work for Melbourne out of their own end.
They do. They're so quick out of dummy half. Billy Slater's got a very quick play the ball when he returns the footy. I don't know whether I'm happy with the carry that he's got.
I'm sure Craig Bellamy has his heart in his mouth at times as he watches Slater bring it back with a perch in the right hand like that. Here's White bouncing away from the Harris tackle, ended up on top of him as he plays it at the halfway line. It goes through the hands of Kearns to Hill, stopped there by Kennedy and also Watmo. Smith, last play again, will kick once more from dummy half. And the pattern will remain with Creary going back, this time to the in-goal area, under pressure from King. He got it to Stewart. Now there's a problem for Melbourne. Stewart can really motor, and Orford came up with a big tackle.
Well, when you have your chase, you need to be committed in the middle third of the field, as well as Mitch Creary out of dummy half. They only had 2 chases on that occasion, Melbourne. They're paying for it.
They've brought it back almost 50 metres, Manly, in 2 plays as Matai takes it across the halfway line. There's a problem there for Brett White, who has a shoulder injury. He goes straight to the sideline, so an early change for Melbourne in this second half. I'm sure they weren't banking on making an interchange this quickly, as Dunley goes from dummy half. He turns it back on the inside to Creary. Last play for Manly. They've taken it 80 metres down the park. Witt at first receiver, whose kicks haven't been all that good this afternoon, and that will certainly continue with this one as it sails over the dead ball line on the full.
Look, that was a great effort by their skipper, Robbie Kearns. Witt had no chance to place it where he wanted to place it. He was under pressure from the play the ball. Just a little effort in a game by the skipper. Sometimes it goes unrewarded, but on that time he forced an error for his team.
Slater popped the ball there for Bell, who was wrapped up. 2 tackles gone, and they picked up just 4 metres. Turner now gets back in behind the play the ball to be wrapped up by Kennedy and also Kite. Smith will give it to Robbie Kearns, who will keep it going to Orford, and then Kidwell, who had matched up nicely against Michael Witt, who did well in defence. Here's Geyer at first receiver. Likes to get in and try and ball play on occasions. Another big run from Matty Geyer. Having a super game here this afternoon is the winger, Smith. This time it will come to Orford, who does the kicking. It bounced off the head of Sam Harris. Played at, said the referee, and then Stewart knocked it on. Melbourne will get 6 more tackles here just outside the 20. That'll please Craig Bellamy, Greg Alexander.
Yeah, well, it certainly will. Craig Bellamy at half-time said the 18-12 scoreline probably flattered his team. The completion rate was terrible. Too many errors. He did point out that if they hung on to the ball, they will score the points. Desi Hasler, he was happy with his side's defence, but he said they'll have to lift it another notch in the second half because the Storm will get their fair share of possession. He pleaded with his ruck defenders not to get lazy on the inside. Brett White, the injured player that just left the field, copped a knock on the nose. He'll be right. He'll take further part in this game.
I'll call you out.
Yeah, the ice pack firmly placed on that hooter as Cronk gives it to Bell on the outside of Stevenson. A desperate tackle from Menzies, or rather Kennedy saved the try. Cronk gives it to Turner. He tries to crash across. They stop him a metre out. Kidwell will go in behind the decoys. Cronk to Warford. Hoffman is there. It comes to Slater. Here's King, who puts it down. Early in the tackle count, left eye is away. It comes to Creary. Geyer has him collared and slings him to ground. What a turnover. Manly on the attack suddenly. It looked as though Melbourne were about to score. Harris comes to Monahan. He gets away from Hill and also Kidwell. He gives it to Stevenson, and then it's knocked on by Donald. What a fast start to this second half. It has been end to end.
Oh, Manly had the opportunity. Scotty Donald dropping the football. Could have been a try down this end of the field if King had caught that ball. Maddow would have had to come up with a one-on-one tackle. He picks it up and charges downfield. Great chase by Matty Geyer, pulling in Creary. Tries to do a Gordon Tallis and throw him over the sideline. I don't know whether he had that much strength, but then Manly counter-attacking, bang, using the football from one side of the field to the other. Monahan creates space down the outside, dropping the ball, Scotty Donald.
Well, it was a track meet for a moment there, from sideline to sideline and end to end, and now a penalty against Manly. They had a flow of penalties which helped them build a lead in the first half. Kidwell gets the mark, taps it and goes quickly, and will pick up 15, if not 20 check metres off the back of it. Good play from the second rower. He caught Manly having a quick breather. Matai was out of position, arguing with the referee, and Kidwell went down the park. Here's Hill, getting close to the action. He runs at Kite and also Harris. He'll play it just inside the Manly 20. Another attacking chance here for Melbourne. Smith goes past Orford to give it to Cronk. He scored the important try just before the break. Bell cleans up the loose ball, but he's taken the ground there by Monahan and also Watmel. Webster. He'll take it forward for a gain of about 5 or 6. Last play, 5 metres out. Smith will give it to Warford. He'll try and kick over the top. Charged down by Menzies. It is still there. Trying to get to it was Cooper Cronk. And the Melbourne Storm will get a knock on against them.
Well, good work by Steve Menzies. I'm not a fan of a charge down unless you can come up with the football. Looked as though Melbourne were going to get 6 to go. But Menzies, he played at the football here. Cronk dives on the football, and then Menzies comes in with an aggressive tackle on top. He rolls the ball forward and Manly get the ball back.
Get in there, Melbourne. Hold it up.
They've hung on very well.
Yeah, they're back
You've
forward.
got to take your hat off to Manly. I mean, last year, they were one of the worst defensive sides in the competition. They've turned it around.
And Melbourne were a little unlucky here as Witt will take the quick kick for line, trying to keep things going. Melbourne thought the ball was out. They came up as a line. Monahan from the base of the scrum did a double shuffle, if you like, and he drew a penalty from them. Dunley comes to the captain. He'll keep up and link up with Kennedy here. Hill around the legs, couldn't stop Kennedy. Clyde puts it down. Well, their completion rate was almost perfect in the first half. They've coughed up a few chances now. 9 minutes gone in the second half.
I'm not listening to him. I'm not listening to him.
He'll have 10 fucking ones still.
Don't think so. Yep.
It's
He went.
not
I'm clearly
10-1.
calling out Robbie. He's known it's been the same all game. If you want to have a blue, talk to Billy. Talk to Billy. Legs up. I'll call you
Robbie
out,
Kearns
Manly.
still arguing the toss about the offside penalty against Melbourne from the scrum. The penalty count, in fact, is 7-3, not 10-1, but I'm sure it feels like 10-1 to Robbie Kearns.
Oh, when in doubt, just make it up, Warren.
A well-worn tactic, especially here at Brookvale over the years. Did you try that one on yourself, Mr. Daly, in Canberra, in your time down there as captain?
I may have won once or twice.
Here's Robbie Kearns taking up towards the 30. He dumps it out the back for Turner.
They're just making it too easy for Manly at the moment, Melbourne Storm. This is Melbourne Storm when they're at their best, passing before the line and their forwards getting involved. Little tip-on plays. They haven't done it here this afternoon at all.
It was a good tackle by Matai on Orford. Now Smith from dummy half. Found himself in behind them. Kennedy, though, stopped him with the help there of Pite and also Harris. Last play here for Melbourne. Orford grubbering this time as opposed to chipping, but it's Menzies once again who makes an important play. A charge down, and this time a pickup of consecutive sets inside their own 20.
Well, that's just awareness from the back row. He's played over 250 games for the Eagles. It was a banana kick. You wouldn't have said, where's Menzies, if that kick had been there and the Melbourne Storm would have scored. But he got himself in a position, then not only retrieved the footy, he wanted to attack with it straight away. You found confidence in their game.
Monahan kicking from deep inside his own 30. He was thinking about a 40-20. He found the sideline. It bounced just in the field of play, but unfortunately for him, it was 10 metres short of coming up with a 40-20. Here's Menzies patrolling the try line, just floating in behind there, anticipating the grubber on that occasion from Monahan, and he read it beautifully. Terrific moment for him, of course, here last week when he scored in the second half against the Sharks to notch up his 150th try. Cameron Smith has led the way with 25 tackles in this game. Brent Kite has also racked up quite a few, as has Robbie Kearns.
Let's lock it in. I'll call you out, Manly.
No change to the half-time scoreline. It's still Manly by 6. Webster from the scrum win for Melbourne. The fast men for Melbourne will be a factor from dummy half as this match wears on, and they certainly have some. Orford, Slater, they can all go. Smith can pick his right time to go as well and create some drama. Good run there from Glenn Turner off the back of a decoy by Robbie Kearns. Kidwell going to them, only waiting on their line in this particular set, and then Dudley comes in to try and march them across the paddock. He gets him to ground. Smith from dummy half comes to Orford. He will grubber and just look for the touchline. And the Melbourne Storm will be happy to use up the clock at the moment and give themselves a breather, remembering they were asking for that 20-minute drinks break that was denied by Manly before the game.
Yeah, I don't mind that tactic there. Previous set of 6, Monahan kicked the ball out. They were able to walk to the scrum, Melbourne. Get their breath back. End of their set of 6, fine touch.
I'll call you out, Melbourne. Billy, hold it.
It's a good way of trying to control your team.
I'll call you out.
But when the tempo needs to be lifted, you've got to be able to get back into the groove. That's the key about slowing down a game and then going again when you need to.
Stevenson playing as they work it to the right-hand side through Witt. It comes to Stewart. Natai from dummy half. Grabbed by Kidwell from marker. Strong work by David Kidwell. He bounced out of there. Now Kite gets them going in the right direction. He collided with Cameron Smith, who came out of the tackle, cartwheeling backwards almost, and now Dunley feed it to Monahan, touched and knocked down by Melbourne. Manly will get 6 more tackles here. Stewart runs away from them. Bell, though, was shepherded. Stevenson was the obstruction as Stewart ran behind him, and Melbourne get an important penalty.
Away.
Well, we saw a few in last night's game. Running around, defender getting impeded.
Hard to argue against as Stephen Bell was denied the chance to get to Brett Stewart, who was going to pour downfield. Now prompt to Hoffman. Manly desperate to hang on. They've withstood some pressure inside their own 20, and now a mistake by Hoffman will relieve that pressure.
Ball security.
Well, they're getting their opportunities
as well by Watmo, didn't he?
Well, he did, but they're getting their opportunities, Melbourne. But you just wonder whether it's taken a lot out of them in that first 40 minutes when they weren't controlling the possession. He's got his shoulder in there, Michael Witt. That's a penalty. He had his shoulder in there. He played for that, Michael Witt.
There's no doubt about that, having had a look at it on the replay.
Sometimes teams just keep testing referees because they believe they just won't continually penalise them. And with the scrutiny that referees are under and the pressure that they're put under, sometimes they feel as though, well, give them the benefit of the doubt.
And here's Stevenson. They work it away again from inside their 20. Kennedy going to put his hand up and take it outside their own red zone. Good run from him. Stevenson again. His second carry in 3 plays. Watmo at dummy half. We'll give it to Heckenberg, who is back out there now. Kearns came up quickly to shut him down. He's done some very good work, Robbie Kearns, here this afternoon, the veteran. Here's Dunley. A flat pass for Menzies, but he tipped it on. It came back to Dunley, and then Matt Geyer, though, came in quickly from his wing once again to shut it down. Not the first time those two have come together today. Comes back to Monahan. This time he'll go high with a midfield bomb. It's got some depth on it, actually, and it bounces down between Slater and Webster. And it's the latter who will bring it back towards the 20.
Well, he's made some good decisions, Matty Geyer, in the defensive line this afternoon. He's jammed in when he's had to. He's played some negative defence when he's had to as well, just sliding away. He gets involved in the play. He's very dangerous carrying the football. You'd just like to see Melbourne, though. I've mentioned it a couple of times. Just a few little tip-ons in the forwards. Just easy going one out. They're doing a lot of dummy half running at this stage, trying to give their forwards a little bit of a breather. It's a time in the game where you have to live. This is where you see who's mentally strong and who's not.
Here's Orford now as they come wide to the left-hand side. Hoffman gives it to King, but there wasn't much happening for Melbourne there. Manly had the numbers, and Matai was able to make a good tackle. Geyer gives it to Warford, who kicks, but this one will be too strong by a good margin. He gave it a fair old roost. In the end, he might have been happy just to stick it dead and make them work it away from their own 20 and use up a bit of time on the clock to give them a breather there. They trail by 6, but it was just a composing set of 6 from them. Strong tackle here on Brent Kite. Downstairs, Dallas Johnson is so effective, and he stopped him cold. Heckenberg, chopped down by Cameron Smith. They'll play it back to Dunley, who is still out there for Randall at the moment. Menzies, play it here, 5 on his own side of halfway. Dunley gives it to Kennedy, who comes down the short side. He's able to step away from the sideline as he came to Dallas Johnson. Witt gets the first receiver. Ball back on the inside for Heckenberg. It was almost away. He got the arms free. Stewart got there, but too late. Dunley to Witt. Under pressure from Cameron Smith. Puts it high in the air. This one will bounce over the dead ball line. It's been the theme of the afternoon, hasn't it? Teams restarting play from their own 20.
Well, the Storm, they've put Manly under pressure with their kicking game, and they have forced a few errors, but on other occasions they've given Manly the ball back.
And Johnson works it up towards this Melbourne Storm 30-metre line. after a razzle-dazzle start to the second half. It has been very much played between the 20-metre lines of both sides in this last 10 minutes or so. We're almost midway through this second half. Still no change to the half-time scoreline. Guy shovels one along the ground from dummy half. Kearns has to pick it up, and he was looking to perhaps take the next hit up. Smith gives it to Johnson. Again to Hoffman. Just short passes with plenty of numbers there for Manly on this right-hand side of their defensive line. Smith will kick from dummy half. Over the head of Stewart, looking for the sideline, and it bends at the last moment to cross the touchline 2 metres out from the corner post.
Good kick that by Cameron Smith. Again, just coming down the short side. Haven't got much room to work with, and just placing it where he wanted to.
Let's go downstairs to Greg.
Yeah, look, a couple of the players that have been outstanding in this Manly side. Steve Mathow, who's made his debut today, has been excellent in defence on this right-hand side, up against some very good centres in Matt King and Steve Bell on the other side. Paul Stevenson, the other Manly centre. In the absence of Terry Hill and John Hopewadi, he's made some terrific runs from dummy half. Now, Steve Mathai came from Ipswich, played with Ipswich last year under Trevor Gilmeister, was signed with Wynnum Manly.
That's the second time for the same one. You've got to take him off. No, you've got to take him off. It's the second time. Go.
Well, Scott Hill here.
Hey, let's go, boys.
Has interrupted Greg's flow as he comes from the field to have that cut attended to him, which is just bleeding once again. And as it's the second time that he has been asked to be attended to, he's forced from the field for the moment. A quick repair job, and Hill will take his place in the defensive line now as Watmo works across the paddock. Got away from Bell's tackle, and also Webster. He's still going. What a game he's had, the second rower. He was looking for a fast play, the ball. Monahan, or rather Donald, got there to feed it on to Lulawai, and here they are motoring across the halfway line. 3 tackles gone. Kennedy will try and keep it going. Kearns stopped him, but he gave it to Lulawai, who was almost in between Johnson and Hill. Dunley has Monahan on his outside. He gives it to the captain, who shows it back onto the inside. Kennedy was there screaming for it, but he'll take the tackle 20 metres out. Last play here for Manly. Witt needs a good kick this time. It bounces. They waited for it. It's still there, and reaching out to score. Stewart put a hand on it, but might have knocked it on.
You want to check onside? You want to check whether the Melbourne player had the ball was taken out and then grounding, please.
It was there. It bounced awkwardly for Melbourne. They were under pressure. The ball came loose, and Stewart reached out, but I think he's just knocked it on.
Well, he doesn't give you the impression that he scored, Brett Stewart. It was a great kick. There was no urgency by the Melbourne Storm. It was a reverse banana kick. They're onside. Stewart's onside. They let it bounce. Kearns was going to make a play at it. Looks as though he's just dropped it. He doesn't ground it. The ball's up in the air, and fingertip forward, knocking it on.
Here he is, reaching over the top of Cameron Smith. Got a hand to it, but it did look as though he knocked it on. His reaction certainly gave you the impression that he had knocked it on. This angle here will give us a good look at it. His fingers come in contact with the ball there, and he forces it forward. Different angle once again. May well be deceptive, that angle there, because the ball skewed off the outside of his hand towards the cameras on this western side of the ground. Well, we'll wait on and see what the referee Chris Ward makes of it. He's had a number of looks at it, and he comes up with no try, and it is a 20-metre restart. A close run thing.
Close.
What did you think?
I thought it was a no try, definitely.
Well, it was closer than we first imagined, but I'm very confident the decision was the right one. Johnson now. He'll work it up towards the Melbourne 40-metre line. There's been a couple of chances for both sides in this second half, but neither has been able to add points. Matt Geyer here big collision there between himself and also Dunley, and then Luluai came in over the top. Kearns looking to pop a ball. He had that left arm free. There's a good look for Brett White. We've seen some innovative work from trainers in the past to stop nosebleeds, and there's another one of them. He'll almost get through the line. 30 metres out, last play. Orford kicks away from Stewart. Slater is chasing, and Billy the Kid wins the race yet again. Oh, he is unbelievable.
Check onside, please, Wardy.
What a kick. Back in behind the play. They are such a force. Orford with his kick, and Slater again with the chase. He was denied twice when he was ruled to be offside, but there'll be no denying this try. He's onside comfortably. Two flyers going head to head, and it's Billy who said, Brett, I'll see you, Slater.
What about the pickup? He picks the ball up and dives over the line. Great skill. We go wax lyrical about this kid, but he is something special. That's the best thing about our game, is the new stars that it generates and produces. We have great players retire, but every year we seem to develop new ones, new heroes for the kids out there, and this guy is one of them.
He picks up try number 5 for the season in just the 3rd game of the year. And in a moment, we'll be locked up here at 18 all. The kick was perfect from Orford.
Well, it's a play that they use a lot. Orford going down a short side, and Stewart had to cover. So therefore, the responsibility comes on someone defending in the line on that right edge for Manly. Menzies did it a few minutes ago when there was a reverse grubber put in by Matty Orford, and this time someone went to sleep. You've got to be aware that that's what the Melbourne Storm do.
Smith from beside the post. Ties us up here at Brookvale. What a finish we have coming up for you. Just under 18 minutes left, and it's 18 playing 18. Greg, as somebody who had a fair kicking game, you must have loved it.
As a former chip and chase man, it was great to see Matty Orford go down that short side. As Laurie said, Brett Stewart really had to cover the short side kick. Beautiful kick back on the inside, and Billy Slater, we saw him score 3 super tries against the Knights in round 1, and that was any equal of it.
They work it away from their own end again. The Melbourne Storm having locked it up. Kearns playing with Smith. Comes to Orford. Here's Hoffman. Free running down this left-hand side to be stopped by Witt and also Matai. King works it away from the side. He runs into the solid shoulder there of Kylie Luluai. He stopped him dead in his tracks. Smith gives it to Orford, who kicks in behind Scott Donald, looking up into the sun. He lets it bounce for Brett Stewart. It was quite a race between the two speedsters. It was Slater who won it. Now Smith comes up with a high shot here on Stewart. As he brought it back, he jumped slightly in the tackle.
He got him. Slop, it was got him, mate. Got him.
And Manly will be happy about getting the penalty. They'll take it down inside Melbourne's territory. Got him just on the chin.
Yeah, I think it bounced up off the chest. I think it come off the hands and bounced up.
Here they are at the halfway line. Stevenson taps it for Watner, who almost stepped through. Stopped there by Cooper Cronk. Stevenson again from dummy half. Going a long way. He'll take it down to the Melbourne 20-metre line. 2 tackles gone in this set. Monahan turns it back on the inside for Luluai, and the captain will set again for a play to the right-hand side. Dunley, though, will go left. There is Monahan. He crossed quickly behind the play the ball. He's just 2 metres away. We'll play it to Stevenson, who will try and duck underneath them. But Cronk was there, so was Kearns. Last tackle here for Manly. Looking to hit the lead again. Monahan grabs it, comes back to him. 6 more tackles for Manly. Witt will give it back to Dunley. Kennedy to Stewart, and this time it's Stewart who wins the race. They hit straight back and take the lead away from Melbourne again. What a piece of luck once more and a grubber kick. We saw it in the first half when Monaghan grubbed it for Dunley to score. This time it bounced straight back to him. Witt knew where to go eventually, gave it to Dunley. Kennedy found Stewart, who went through the gap.
Some sensational play there by the Manly side. Yes, a little bit of luck involved with the kick and the rebound, but then they played off the back of that beautifully. They realised there was 60 to go, but they also realised there was an opportunity on the right-hand side of the field. The bench, they're happy. One of the stars of the game, Brett Stewart, had a fantastic 2004 season. 14.5 minutes to go, he puts his team in front.
He has a super strike rate himself in his young career, does Brett Stewart, as far as scoring tries for this Manly team. He will be their fullback, as we've said a number of times, for a long, long time to come here. And now Michael Witt, about 15 metres to the right-hand side of the post, will again make it a 6-point. And Manly with 14 left, lead 24-18 Green.
Yeah, they strike back straight away, the Manly Seagulls. And we spoke about the two halfbacks before the game. Michael Monaghan up against Matt Orford, the former player of the competition. Monaghan is definitely winning that battle. We've seen all facets of play from him today. And again, a small kick, rebounds into his hands. He laid on the one for Dunley as well, so he's had a terrific game, the Manly skipper.
Well, we said before the game it might develop into a battle of the halfbacks and also the fullbacks, and we've seen exactly that in the last two scoring movements within 3 minutes of each other. Halfbacks kicking and fullbacks scoring. Brett Stewart now scored 16 tries in just 21 games in the NRL. Here's Heckenberg, who might have got a forward pass. In fact, it was. He was too early to go, and Dunley got it to him in a forward fashion, and Melbourne will get a chance 40 metres out from the Manly line.
Well, they didn't need that Manly. They were rolling along quite well. Ooh, could have nearly been pinged there for deliberate. Lucky to get away with that Manly. They have turned the ball over, though, in good position. You know that Melbourne won't go away, and with the ability to score points in their football team, you just can't give them opportunities.
Here's King up against Matai. He's been solid defensively in his debut here, Matai, this afternoon. Here's Turnerman as they take it forward. Stop there, and a good tackle by Menzies downstairs. Guy from dummy half. He'll link up with Scott Hill, who had options on his outside, but will take the tackle here just outside the Manly 20. He'll play it to Smith. Cronk gets the first receiver. He's got Kafusi on his outside. He went straight past Watmo. And lucky there was Kennedy there with the help of Monaghan to stop him. Cronk again. Will come to Orford. He bypasses Kearns. Slater got it on to Turner, who had King on his outside. He was looking for an offload. Last play here, Slater to Orford, who shepherds it on, rather fires it on. With Shepherd running in front of the play the ball, and then Johnson came up with the ball that was crunched by Kennedy.
Great defence by Manly. They really made a play on the person hitting the ball, and it was Dallas Johnson to feel the full weight of the shoulders of Heckenberg and Kennedy. That's desperation, and that's what confidence gives you. Just see Kennedy and Heckenberg coming across.
Creary will play it here just outside the Manly 20 as Kennedy works it up for a gain of about 10. They've used up 4 tackles. He pinches a couple of extra metres on his knees, and then Dunley from dummy half goes quickly. He was taken by King. Manly fought in a high fashion. Dunley will fight back to his feet to play the ball. Witts kicking on the outside of the boot. It will bounce up here for Slater. He will bring it back quickly and try and pick up as many metres as he possibly can. Monaghan, though, comes up with a good tackle on the fullback.
Oh, look at their kick chase down Manly. They're all up there. They're all working hard again. The tempo of this game's starting to lift. Melbourne, can they go with the Eagles? The Eagles realise that they've got 2 points on the offering here. They've got a bye next week, so how important is this 2 points for them?
Here's Bell working in traffic, taking it across the halfway line. Lulawai is back on the bench at the moment for Manly. Here's Orford. Slater back on his inside. Oh, was grabbed by Kite only just with the help of Dunley. Kidwell from dummy half. He'll pick up about 15 metres. Last play, just inside the 20. Orford this time, what can he come up with? Bypasses everybody. It's still there for Melbourne. 6 more tackles for the Storm. It was touched by Manly. Bell has it and plays it. Cronk wraps to the blind side. Webster stopped there by Donald, a metre away from the Manly line. Inside the final 10. And then reaching out, Watno will give away a penalty.
Go on like that. You got to get back to the line.
He was up too quickly and wreathed it out of the dummy half's hands.
Wait.
Melbourne will get 6 more tackles here.
Hold there.
Cronk will take it back to the 10.
That's the mark.
And they'll come at them again. Here is Hill. He will work it forward for a settler. Kidwell is a danger to go from dummy half and tried his luck. They stopped him though on top of the line. Kennedy was underneath him. Cronk spirals a ball to Warford, who has options. Slater is a good one. Back on the inside this time for Geyer. Good tackle though once again. It was Witt who made it. Turner for the corner. Put a foot on the line. It was an all-or-nothing play. They went to the short side, and they did enough to push Turner on top of the touchline.
Well, it's just great defence by Manly. Not only have they defended well out wide, but in the middle of the ruck, when Melbourne have looked to come down with short inside passes, they've been committed enough to move across. Great work there by Creary, pushing Turner out. I think if he had his time over again, I don't think Slater would have went down that short side.
Keep it in there, David Kidwell. Pull them together. Hold it in. Call you out.
And Monaghan with the feed. They've got 8 minutes to hang on here. Manly is Stevenson. It's taken here by Hill. They have worked well from their own end all day, but they need to do it again here as they hang on to this 6-point lead. Watno, another good bustling run. Donald from dummy half will take it up almost to the 30-metre line. Heckenberg, he'll feed it to Kite. He bumps into Kidwell, who worked across from Marker to stop him. Williamson is back out there now to finish the game for Manly, you would think. He kicks from dummy half, and Slater takes it at his own 20. He'll bring it back and link up with Geyer, who has King on his outside. He gets it, but he's stopped there by Menzies.
Legsy tackle, play on.
Geyer from dummy half will go to Turner, the man who was bundled into touch. They're back already on the Manly side of halfway. Cronk from dummy half will give it to Warford. Here's Kafusi. He was pouring on the speed as he got to the defensive line, but Monaghan made a strong tackle on him. Orford comes back to the left. Johnson to Turner. They're tired down the middle of the park, Manly, but they keep making tackles. Here's Johnson. Orford coming quickly. He's got King with him. Another good tackle, though, by Matai. King, they've got it to Warford, who is strong and is stopped, but only just there by Stewart. Last play for Melbourne. Cronk will put the crossfield kick in. It goes backwards. Bell will take it. They'll hang off him. He grubbers in behind them. There's a chance. Stewart got there, picked it up acrobatically and saves the day for Manly.
Oh, great work by the fullback, Stewart. Put his body on the line, dived at the football, and again, looking to turn a negative into a positive. Not just happy to accept the tackle. He wanted to get the ball further upfield for his team.
He's down on his haunches behind the play, Stewart, and he's okay. Here's Watno. Stopped just short of the halfway line by Cooper Cronk. Williamson comes to Monaghan, who was thinking about a 51-metre field goal attempt. If you don't mind, Michael.
Well, he's had a good game today. He probably thought he could land it from there. He certainly got the wind behind his back. But the Storm, you would think, if they're to get out of this, it's going to be Orford or a Hill or a Slater, someone with a piece of genius.
Here's Kidwell, who will turn it on the inside here for Webster. They keep trying them out with inside passes down the middle of the park, but Manly keep making tackles as Hill shuffles away from dummy half. He gives it to Kafusi, but again, Menzies was there with Heckenberg. Fast play, the ball has them going backwards. Hill on the inside, it went to ground. Cronk is there. He goes to Kidwell. But there are numbers for Manly. They've got 3-on-3. Bell, realising that, almost stepped through still. Kennedy makes a big tackle. Geyer from dummy half. What does he do? He puts a crossfield kick in. Not a good one. Matai had a simple take in the in-goal area, and it relieves all the pressure with 5 minutes on the clock.
Look, it was good enthusiasm from Matty Guy to be over on that side of the field and to get into dummy half. But in that situation, you need it to go to your key playmakers. Bellamy in the booth, he wasn't happy. Fifth tackle, you need it to go to Orford or a Hill.
Creary playing it for Williamson as Kite works away from the marker defence. He stops by Kafusi just short of the halfway line. It's a slow play the ball. Kite in no hurry to try and get them off him as Heckenberg takes it forward. He picked up 10 metres.
Are they setting themselves for one again?
4.5 left. Watno takes it forward on play number 5. They're 30 away in a good position here for Monahan. He gets it, sets himself, snaps it, but it's a shocker. Off the outside of the boot. In the end, Matai was thinking about a play because the ball was still screwing around in the in-goal area.
Well, that's twice now he's attempted it. 4 minutes to go. And Melbourne have to take the ball 80 metres upfield. Cooper Cronk getting some running repairs. Kearns looking on.
Orford has already supplied one kick for Billy Slater in this game for a try. With under 4 minutes left, will they get to midfield and then Orford perhaps look for a chip over the top for a Slater flying through?
Well, you'd have to say if you're the Manly team for Brett Stewart to play a little bit shorter. You don't need him playing deep, because that's a tactic they will use. The wingers have to be aware also.
Menzies has been the man who's read it well in the past. Here's Turner giving it to Geyer. Stopped there by Matai. 3 tackles gone. They're 30 metres away. Orford with Slater back on his inside. He'll take the tackle this time though. Slater gets to dummy half. He'll give it to Cronk. Here's Hill. With not much happening on his right-hand side, he comes back to the middle of the park. Slater gives it to Johnson. He's running behind Geyer. That's a penalty. It was ruled that way a number of times by Russell Smith against the Dragons last night, and Steve Clark has been consistent with that here on this play.
He just said Dallas Johnson, he realised he'd made a mistake. And that's the rule these days. You can't afford to run in behind.
That's one! Yes. Here, Brett. Hold.
Now Harris playing 5 on his own side of halfway. Here's Kite. 2 tackles gone. Having had 2 previous attempts, you would figure Monahan will say, what the hell, I'll have another one here. They're 40 metres away with 3 plays gone. Williamson from dummy half. So work it down the left-hand side. Harris picked off and a good tackle by Scott Hill around the legs. Williamson to Monahan. Here we go again. A better strike this time. It's long enough, it's high enough, and it's straight between the posts, as the great man Frank Hyde used to say.
Well, you're stealing someone else's line there, Warren. Yep. But Michael Monahan, yes, he's making a name for himself. 3rd time lucky. Struck it beautifully. Over the black dot. The fans go mad at Brookvale. And Manly, 3 out of 3. Bye next weekend. Going into round 5, they'll be still on top of the competition table.
Well, he had a couple of rangefinders, Monahan. The kick-off from Melbourne sails wide on the full. It was a terrific kick. He just timed it so nicely. The 2 best performed teams in the NRL after 2 weeks came together here today. And Manly, helped by a weight of possession in the opening half an hour of the game, opened up an 18-6 lead at one stage. Here they are at 25-18. As you said, they will get the 2 points from the bye next week by Melbourne. What a game they have next week down there at Olympic Park. We'll bring it to you on Super Saturday. Kite went behind Menzies. That's also an obstruction. But Melbourne will take on the Broncos on Super Saturday. What a way to kick it off next Saturday that'll be, Laurie.
Oh, looking forward to that one already. Melbourne, they haven't been at their best. They have missed Alex Chan and Dennis Scott today. They haven't been their normal self, but take nothing away from Manly. Defensively, they're being great, but also they set it up in the first 40 minutes with the way that they had the football. They used the football. It was a mistake-free game.
That second ball.
There was one error on the 4th tackle, another one on the 5th tackle. where they kicked it out on the full. There was only 2 mistakes. If you have completion rates like that, always very difficult to beat. And Watmout coming up with a football from a mistake from Slater. I don't think there's been a better player on the paddock.
No, he's had a fantastic game, has Anthony Watmout. It's fitting that he ends up with the ball here towards full time as Williamson gives it to Monahan. He will happily kick it out of play. He puts one in for Donald. Webster going back, will take it across the sideline. And that will do us here at Brookvale. Has the clock turned back? Because Manly are 3 from 3 to start the new season. They've beaten the Melbourne Storm 25 points to 18, and they are beside themselves here at Brookvale.
Well, great performance by Manly, and if they can continue to produce the sort of effort and performance today, there's no reason why they won't make the top 8 this year. Still a long way to go, but on what we have seen so far this year, they are looking the goods. They came up against a team that everyone was thinking was the form team of the competition. And Melbourne, their first 2 games have been blowout scorelines, but today they come up against a team that was prepared to tough it out with them, and they just couldn't go with them, the Melbourne Storm team.
Brett Stewart scored the try to put Manly back in front, 24 points to 18. And then off the back of that, Michael Monahan at the 3rd attempt stuck it over the black dot for a field goal, which gave them a 7-point buffer. He knew that was enough. And there are the scorers. Heckenberg, Randall, Dudley and Stewart all scored tries for the home side. Wet kick 4 from 4, and Monahan landed a field goal. For the Melbourne Storm, Bell, Cronk and Slater all scored 4-pointers. Smith was 3 from 3 with the boot. It has been an afternoon to remember for the Manly faithful here. There was a big crowd to watch them go around as well, and they will keep drawing big crowds. But don't forget about the rest of the weekend as far as the action continues on Fox Sports. The Bulldogs will take on the Tigers. That's tonight from 6 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 2. And don't forget about our Easter Monday clash, the Rabbitohs up against the Raiders. That one live from Aussie Stadium tomorrow. Our pre-game show with Mark Braybrook from 2:30 p.m. Then a kick-off at 3 o'clock on Fox Sports 1.